What do you do when your brother takes Grandpa's chair and sells it cheap? And how does justice sneak back to bite him? The Springfield sun sank low on a warm October evening in Missouri, casting soft shadows across my small house. I stood in the living room with a broom in my hand, sweeping dust from the wooden floor. My eyes landed on the empty spot by the fireplace where Grandpa Frank's old armchair used to sit. It wasn't there anymore, and the room felt strange without it, like something big was missing. My brother Ray had taken it after Mom passed away in 2020, and I couldn't let that go. This chair meant a lot to our family. Grandpa Frank brought it home when I was a kid. It was big and soft with green fabric that faded over time. We'd sit around it every Sunday, listening to his stories about fishing and fixing cars. I'd stretch out on the rug while Ray kicked his feet nearby. After Grandpa passed, Mom kept the chair close. She'd sit in it knitting, telling us to stick together no matter what. But when she died, Ray showed up and said, "Mom wanted me to have it." Then he hauled it away before I could say a word. Later, I found out he'd made that up. Mom never gave it to him, and it hurt deep. I set the broom against the wall and grabbed my phone. Ray lived in Kansas City now, a few hours away. I dialed his number and said, "Ray, where's Grandpa's chair? You took it, why?" His voice came back rough and smug. "Sold it. Needed the money. It's gone." My stomach sank. He'd sold it just like that. I called Sue, my cousin, and said, "Ray took the chair and sold it. He lied about Mom." She sighed and replied, "He's your brother. Let it be." I shook my head. Brothers don't steal. I'm going to figure this out. The evening grew quiet, and I sat down with a cup of tea, staring at the empty spot. Ray used to climb all over that chair when we were kids, begging Grandpa for more stories. But he changed over the years, always chasing quick cash, leaving me to look after Mom when she got sick. I wanted to let it slide like Sue said, but the lie stuck with me. I called Ben, Sue's son, and said, "Help me look into this. Ray's hiding something." He agreed. "Sure, Aunt Dot. I'll ask around." The night settled in, and I knew this wasn't just about a chair. It was about family and trust. I had to set it right. The Springfield sun rose gentle the next October morning, shining through my kitchen window as I stood by the counter, sipping coffee and thinking about Grandpa's chair. Ray's words from last night rang in my ears. Sold it. Needed the money. And it made me mad every time I pictured that empty spot by the fireplace. The chair was special to us. Grandpa Frank used to sit in it, telling stories about fishing trips and fixing engines while I listened on the floor and Ray played nearby. After he was gone, Mom kept it close, saying it held his memory. She'd knit in it and tell us to stay together. But when she passed, Ray took it, saying she'd left it to him, and I couldn't shake the feeling he'd lied. I finished my coffee and walked out to the shed behind the house, looking for anything to prove him wrong. Ben showed up soon after, Sue's son, a smart young man with a good heart, and started helping me dig through boxes. We pulled out old photos and fishing hooks, then found a folded paper inside a rusty tin can. It was Grandpa's handwriting, neat and clear, saying, "This chair's special, worth more than it looks. Keep it safe." My hands shook a little as I showed it to Ben. "This changes everything," I said. Ray didn't know. Ben nodded. "Let's find out where it went." I grabbed my phone and called Ray. "What did you do with Grandpa's chair?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "It's special, tell me." He laughed loud and mean. "Sold it cheap, $50, needed gas money." "You're too late." My chest tightened. He'd tossed it away like nothing. I turned to Ben and said, "He doesn't know what he lost. I'm going to Kansas City. Sue called me after, sounding worried. Raise your brother. Don't make a fuss. I replied. He made the fuss. He lied and sold what's ours. The morning stayed calm, and I sat with Grandpa's note, thinking about Ray as a kid, always wanting more, taking coins from Mom's jar when she wasn't looking, leaving me to care for her when she got weak. I wanted him to admit it, not just for the chair, but for us. Ben looked up from his phone. I asked around. He sold it to a guy in town. I stood and said, "We're driving there. Family's worth it." The shed door swung shut as I walked back inside, Grandpa's steady voice in my mind, pushing me to keep going. The Kansas City air blew cool that bright November morning as I stepped out of Ben's truck, holding Grandpa's note and the paper from the shed tight in my hands. Thanksgiving was near, and I'd driven from Springfield with Ben, my cousin Sue's son, to find Ray, my brother, and settle things about the chair he took. His small house sat on a quiet street with chipped paint and a sagging porch. I walked up slow, my cane tapping the ground, heart thumping with nerves and hope. I knocked on the door, hearing a TV blaring inside, and waited, ready to face him and get the truth. Ray opened the door, short and stocky, his shirt wrinkled from sitting too long. He smirked when he saw me. "Dot, you came all this way for that old chair." I held up the note and said, "Ray, you lied about Mom and sold Grandpa's chair. I've got proof." He laughed and leaned against the frame. "Proof? I sold it for $50. Needed the cash. It's gone." I stepped closer. "It's not gone. Grandpa wrote this. It's worth more. You cheated me." His smirk faded and he snapped, "Worth more? It's junk. I got a good deal. Go home and cry about it." His words stung, but I stayed steady. Ben stood behind me, quiet but solid. I said, "You sold what's ours. I'm not leaving until you tell the truth." Ray's voice got loud. "Truth. I took it. Sold it cheap. $50 was a steal." Sue's voice came through my phone. I'd called her on the way. "That's right, Ray. You took it." Ben added, "He's family." "Don't fight," Ray shouted back. "Family? I'll prove I'm fine. I've got money now. Better than that chair." The porch shook with his yelling, and I could feel the family pulling apart right there. Ray's phone rang, cutting through the noise. He grinned and picked it up. "Hey, Joe. Sold that chair. $50 was a steal, right? Drinks on me." He winked at me, full of pride. Ben chuckled and said, "Joe's the guy who bought it. Wait for this." Joe's voice crackled loud on the phone. "Chair? You mean that trash? Found a paper inside. Worth a ton. My chair now." We all burst out laughing. Sue said through the speaker, "Trash? That's gold, Ray." Ray stammered, "Trash? No, Joe, wait." His big brag flipped into panic, and he looked like a fool caught with nothing. Ray's face went red, and he dropped the phone. I said, "Grandpa hid a certificate in it. Makes it valuable. Joe's got it now because you sold it cheap." Ray sank onto the porch steps, muttering, "Valuable? I sold it. Thought it was junk." Sue spoke up. "Mom knew. Kept it safe with Grandpa's lawyer." Joe checked. Ray looked down and said, $50. Thought I'd won. I stood tall. "Won? You lost it all. Lied and lost." He lifted his head, eyes dull. "Thought Mom hated me. Took it to prove something." The sun warmed the porch, and the truth settled in. His greed had trapped him tight. The Springfield dusk glowed warm that Thanksgiving night. My small house cozy with chatter as Grandpa's chair sat by the fireplace again. Its green fabric faded but steady. Ray's mistake had unraveled a week ago. Joe, the guy who bought it, Called and offered it back for a fair price after finding the certificate inside, proving it was worth a lot. I paid him, brought it home, and now neighbors filled the room. George with his pie, Sue with her bread, plates clinking as we ate. I sat with a cup of tea, feeling light after months of chasing the truth. Sue settled next to me and smiled. Dot, you got it back. Ray's out of luck. Ben, her son, grinned. Aunt Dot's tough. I nodded. Takes more than a lie to break us. Ray's call came yesterday, his voice low. Dot, I messed up. Thought I'd come out on top. Sorry. I'd replied. You took it. Thought you'd win. Lost more than a chair. He'd gone quiet. Mom's trust slipped away when he grabbed it, leaving me to hold the family together. George took a bite of pie and said, Ray's deal, $50 for nothing. I laughed. He bragged, and Joe got the prize. Ben chuckled. That trash call was the best part. Sue added, Mom would laugh, Ray's flop. I smiled. She knew. Hit it smart. Kept it ours. The house hummed with noise, George telling stories, Sue passing bread, kids giggling. I leaned back, happy with our strength. Thanksgiving felt full, our roots deep through the trouble. Ray stayed in Kansas City, broke and silent, his lie a rope that pulled him down. Later, alone, I stood by the chair, its fabric warm under my hand. Ray's sorry lingered, Mom's care stayed strong, a lie turned right. Family held firm, truth and love all I needed.